Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the bye-week special. We're your host, Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston. The Niners have the week off, and normally in a bye-week special, you look at the team and look at their strengths and their weaknesses and break down the situation at right guard. But we've done that so many freaking times. I think it would be more interesting to look at the rest of the league because every time the Niners play a team, I'm shocked at how bad this freaking team is, except for the ones that they lose to. So we're all sort of expecting, hey, the Niners just beat the Rams. They they righted the ship. Everything's going to be great. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they should take care of business down the stretch, but so far all I know is they're 1-2 against teams that are currently slated to be in the playoffs and 3-2 against teams that don't freaking matter. So anything could happen. Let's go game opponent by opponent of teams that have a legit chance to make the playoffs in the NFC, which frankly is any team that's in the NFC right now because it's garbage conference.
Are you a team? Are you in the NFC? Okay, you're in the playoff picture.
there's like 6 teams with 3 wins in the NFC right now. 6. It's terrible. It's an epidemic. Anyway, are you in Brazil today? Or are you back up in Jersey?
I am home. I'm back in the United States.
All right, good to know.
Yeah,
that's good. All right, let's not mess around. Let's get straight to teams we don't know as well as the 49ers, but teams that we've been doing our homework on. We got 8 games of evidence and sample size. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals. This team is kind of interesting because usually they start off hot and then fall apart. This year they didn't even start off hot. But they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins. He's back. They just lost with him last week to a good Vikings team, I believe. Let's look through this team and decide. Well, first of all, what's your impression of the Cardinals? Do they really give the Niners a legit scare? Beat them twice last year.
Are they the scariest team in the NFL?
No, that's the 49ers because they beat the Rams.
All right, so the Cardinals, right? So
yeah.
I think the important thing you need to know about the Cardinals right now is that it's November, and that means Call of Duty is out. And
this is true.
The being the quarterback of the Cardinals is not Kyler Murray's favorite pastime. It's playing
Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That's a fun game.
It's great. It's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
And people are actually more successful than you doing Call of Duty.
Although I heard that video game experts kind of start going past their prime in their early 20s, that their hand-eye coordination kind of starts to go. So anyway, Kyler, you might want to stick with football.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So yeah, okay, so he's documented his play goes downhill. But let me be devil's advocate here because I'm the only Cardinals fan in the world. I'm not a Cardinals fan, but I think I like Kyler. And everyone really makes fun of him because he doesn't do his homework. That's true. He should probably do his homework. But I like Kyler, okay? And when he has DeAndre Hopkins, those guys generally win more than I think they're 9-3 in their last 12 games together.
Wait, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about their head coach?
Trash.
Okay.
But, I mean, how do I feel about the Niners head coach, right? I'm not a huge Kyle Shanahan fan.
I know you're not a huge child, but I don't think you would put him in the trash category.
No, he's not trash. Absolutely not. But let me keep making an argument for why. Here's the thing. I think most Niner fans are like, oh, we're definitely going to sweep the Cardinals this year. Whoa, slow down. I mean, I think they'll beat the Cardinals once, but this is a team that lost to Denver and Chicago. And one thing that the Niners have a pattern with, they've lost to every single mobile quarterback on their schedule so far this season. Every single one. And this has been an issue for years. I don't know if it's a wide 9 thing or whatever, but Kyler Murray is as mobile as any quarterback in the league, and he has given them problems with his legs. And I just want to point out one stat. DeAndre Hopkins is back. So far this season, when targeting Hopkins, Kyler Murray's quarterback rating is 119. There's still a really good connection. The whole offense goes through him. No, they can't run the ball at all. But you don't have to run the ball against the Niners. You can just screen them and then mix it in with some downfield scramble plays. That's my defense of the Cardinals winning maybe one game against the Niners. What do you think?
So, I see where that's a good point, but I think DeMeco Ryans is a bright guy, and I think sometimes with all his success, I think we forget it's only his second, not even his full second year in the league as a DC. So remember, Solid wasn't immediately immediately awesome, right? So, and he did have problems. Remember, he had problems with the mobile quarterback too, and then he eventually found some answers.
Yeah, year four, he figured it out. But yeah, with a lot of help from me. A lot of help from me.
But I think early on he didn't have. I don't think he had all the tools in the cupboard. Like later on he did. He had more tools
He
in the
had
cupboard. Like
Ray Armstrong. Remember
D'Amico,
Ray Armstrong? Maybe that's who Colin Cowherd was talking about. Armstrong.
the red wave. Um,
So he pretends to be an expert about sports 7 days a week, and now he's going to pretend to be an expert about politics. I like him, man. There is nothing he won't pretend to be. I like that about him. All right, keep going.
so I think that like I think he could start figuring it out. I mean, he's faced enough mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This I mean, so it wouldn't surprise me if he came up with some new wrinkles in the defense where he can slow Kyler down. I mean, take care of if you take care of Hopkins, or you can also do it. What they kind of do to the Rams is they kind of suffocate everybody else, let Cooper Kupp go off, and then just suffocate everybody else and just control Kyler, because Kyler will do kind of what Stafford does, is like let him make some mistakes, and but then you got to capitalize off of those mistakes.
The difference is that Kyler's much more mobile than Stafford.
Oh,
and they do have some speed on that offense, and Rondale Moore and Hollywood Brown. Like, they have more talent than the Rams. They're a better team than the Rams, who freaking suck, although they are champions. But I just want to say, like, winning a Super Bowl these days it's great, but it doesn't mean that you're a dynasty. This is the salary cap era, and like, this whole McVay could be gone next year. So just because they won something last year doesn't mean anything for this year. That's a team that's going to finish last in their division this year. So I don't know why I'm talking about the Rams. We're not going to talk about the Rams anymore because they don't matter. We are talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Their defense sucks this year as opposed to the last. They got, they no longer have Chandler Jones. I don't know. They no longer have Patrick Peterson. I don't know if they had him in a while. But they have J.J. Watt, who's still healthy.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I don't think, like, the Niners, and I'm going to say this probably for most of the people that are on the schedule, like, they can't walk in there and be like, oh, our defense is just going to win the game for us, and then, like, our offense can put up 13 and we'll win. Like, they've.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I do feel like the Cardinals can actually expose the weaknesses in the Niners defense. It's a very good defense, but even when they play well against mobile quarterbacks, that like 3rd and 13, that 14-yard scramble on 3rd and 13 is coming at some point in the game. It happened against Denver. It happened they were terrible against Marcus Mariota. Just awful. He got whatever he wanted in that game. And that was the last time there was Mahomes who got whatever he wanted too. So if you can, like, sort of beat that initial wave, make the initial wave a pass rush miss, if you can run a little bit on your own, Niners are on their heels fast.
I'd be interested to see if Salah, or sorry, not Salah, D'Amico comes up with something. I don't know, maybe
he needs to
use Ward as a spy on Kyler. Like,
I like to rush 5 against a mobile quarterback like that. And what you're saying is I'm rushing 5, but I'm not really rushing the quarterback. What I'm doing is I'm taking away a scramble lane. Because if you rush 4, there's always one gap that you can run through. And you're saying, hey, man, keep this guy in the pocket. The ends cannot rush past Kyler Murray. You cannot rush further upfield than Kyler Murray. You're creating a cage. And what you're saying is the guy is 5'9". He can't see if he's in the pocket. So keep him in the pocket. I mean, honestly, that's what I would do. I think that's your best move against him.
I think what you have to do is you can rush 4 or rush 5, but like have one be a late ad. So, like, what you kind of do is you let the quarterback kind of declare where he's
Fair.
going, and then the last person adds in.
I like that.
Right.
I like that. That's clever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be better to rush 5 than to rush 3 on 3rd down, because you don't want to just invite him to scramble, and he doesn't want to throw anyway. Just saying.
Yeah, and you can kind of do that and make it sort of cloudy for him too. Is like you can have a defensive lineman do that. You can have the defensive lineman do a late ad. Let Kyler declare where he wants to go, and then let one of Ebicom let Ebicom then go hunt him.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of maybe having Ward do that, because Ward has enough. Jimmy has enough speed to track him down. He likes hitting. He likes tackling anyway, so he's a good tackler. So
yeah. That's a good call.
You'd have some confidence that he could take care. the Niners, I believe in the past have fiddled around with letting Fred Warner be the spy on Kyler and didn't have.
Not fast enough. Not
Yeah,
fast
he's
enough.
not fast. Yeah.
What I think is interesting about Arizona is they're a tough matchup for the Niners, as we've kind of laid out. But they're not a tough matchup for the Rams. They lost to the Rams already. And they're not a tough matchup on the Seahawks because they can't run the ball at all. And they're just a drop back passing team. And all of a sudden, you go against the Rams and do that crap, like Aaron Donald's in your face and you lose. You do that against the Seahawks. They have really good corners. And it's not easy to just pass the ball down the field against them. Like, you do that against the Niners. Like, it's hard to it's hard to go right up in that Niners front seven. It's very stout. But if you do what the Cardinals do and throw screens and extend plays, I think that's your best bet against the Niners. So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, the Cardinals. But it's just a tough matchup for the 49ers, as we've seen the last 2 seasons. 3.
Yeah, that's another thing is like he's going to have – D'Amico's going to have to come up with some answer to screen game.
Yeah, he's getting screened to death the last few weeks. And the only reason it didn't work for a whole game for the Rams is that's all they had. Yeah, they didn't have – it was like their fastball, and they had nothing else.
Right,
and the Cardinals have more.
And they only really had one kind of weapon to screen to. I mean, yeah, you can count the
and he wasn't explosive.
The tight end a little bit, but
no. This team has Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown, a lot of speed. I mean, in that sense, they're more like the Chiefs. They're not the Chiefs. The Chiefs were well coached and well prepared. The Cardinals are probably they can't fire their coach. They just extended him. They're a joke. But they do give the Niners a tough time. So I think this is an interesting game. I actually picked the Cardinals to win it, the one in Mexico City. I think the Niners probably should handle business at home week 18 with the playoffs on the line. But I kind of think they'll split. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, Mexico, I guarantee Mexico City will be a sea of red.
And that's all that really matters. All right. After them, the 49ers will face the New Orleans Saints at home. The Saints are currently 3-5. They just shut out the Raiders, who really freaking suck. They have Andy Dalton as their quarterback, who's essentially Jimmy Garoppolo. They have Alvin Kamara as their running back, who's essentially Christian McCaffrey. They have Dennis Allen as their coach, who's has no personality. They don't have Michael Thomas. He seems like he's out for the year.
No personality.
Yeah. Like the defensive version of Kyle Shanahan. I'm sorry. I think Kyle has a little bit more personality than Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
He does. They have Chris Olave, who seems to be a improving good first-round pick wide receiver. They have Marshawn Lattimore, who's still a baller. I don't know, man. What do you think of this team?
I think there's a reason why Sean Payton bailed on that, right? Like,
yeah.
But the thing about any of these opponents, right? It's like this Niners team, they could lose to anybody.
That's the thing, and that's why I want to really look at each one closely. Like we just didn't. I didn't even consider the Falcons, but then I brought in a Falcons content creator on my channel, and he was like, "Look, this team has been in every single game so far this year. I don't know what is going on, but they're really well coached and well prepared, even though they don't have that much talent." And he called it. So the Niners are not necessarily super well coached and well prepared right now. They're a team that is living on experience and talent until their coaching staff comes to the party. Maybe they will at the bye week. So that's why we don't even look at the Chargers. I think the Chargers really suck. But I'm not even counting the AFC teams right now. The Niners definitely could lose to some of those too. I'm just looking at the NFC teams that are, because it looks like right now, either the Niners or the Seahawks are going to win the NFC West. And then the 2 top NFC wildcard teams are going to be the Giants and the Cowboys. So the Niners are either going to win their division or be the 7th seed. And if they're going to be the 7th seed, they're going to be competing with these teams here. So let's see.
So certain teams can get away with turning the ball over. The Niners can't. Like their success rate is highly correlated to how much they turn the ball over versus how much the other team turns the ball over. I mean, it's a general rule in football, but there are certain teams that can get away with it. Usually teams that have a really
great quarterback. Yeah, those ones.
The Bills have won games with turning the ball over more than the opponents.
Sure, Chiefs have too.
Yeah, the Chiefs have too.
Yeah, I'm sure the Chiefs have too.
Even the Rams have, but the Niners.
Yeah, they have Mr. Pick Six at quarterback. Absolutely.
So, I guess for all of these games, I'm gonna have to say is X quarterback going to turn the ball over more than Jimmy Garoppolo? And I'm going to say Andy Dalton will.
Yeah, because he's going against a tougher defense. Yeah. And he's not good. Yeah. I don't think he's that much worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. But he doesn't have Debo. He doesn't have Ayuk. He has Olave and Kamara. And he's got that face, which, frankly, is not doing him any favors. Sorry. But you know what I'm talking about. He's got the face. It's a hindrance when you got a face like that playing quarterback.
He does have the red rifle.
He does have the red rifle, though. Yeah, I mean, so basically my premise for the last game for the Cardinals is that, hey, you can't write off the Cardinals because the Niners are defeated against, they have not beaten a mobile quarterback this year, and Kyler is as mobile as it gets. Well, Andy Dalton isn't exactly mobile. The Niners face a quarterback like him every freaking day in practice. I don't think Andy Dalton is going to beat the 49ers defense. I just don't see it happening. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think they have the front to deal with the Niners front. So,
yeah, I don't think they have the weapons either. If they had Michael Thomas, maybe. But if all the Niners have to worry about is Chris Olave, who's good, not great, and Alvin Kamara, who's past his prime, I think the Niners can probably outscore that.
Yeah,
it's going to be a shootout between the red rifle and the, I don't know, what would you say Jimmy is?
Italian style. I don't know.
The Italian? Okay. Sounds good. So we're not really, I think the Saints probably have a better chance to make the playoffs than the Cardinals because that NFC South is awful. How many wins is it going to take to win that division this year? 9?
The NFC
8?
South?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
The Falcon. I just saw that there's the Falcons and the Panthers could potentially win that division after they basically gave up.
They should have. Yeah, like, they beat the Bucs.
They're like rebuild, and then like, whoa, we go.
Hey, trading Christian McCaffrey is the best thing that ever happened to that franchise. What's his name? PJ Walker. Hey, would the Niners have beaten PJ Walker? I don't know. They haven't beaten a mobile quarterback all year. I just want to say. So no, neither of us are really taking the Saints too seriously. Let's talk about the Tampa. What?
Would they have beaten Christian McCaffrey at quarterback?
Dude, he's so good at throwing the football. A little short, though. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the next potential NFC playoff contender on the Niners schedule after the Saints. And what you got to know about the Bucs is they started off 2-0. Since then, they've lost 5 of 6. The one win was that controversial win against the Falcons where Brady got sacked at the end and they called it a 15-yard penalty. It was very, very close to being on a 6-game losing streak, which is interesting because they do have a good defense. All those guys from that Super Bowl, Vita Vea, all the safeties, the corners, the linebackers still there. Todd Bowles still there. Tom Brady's still there. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's still there. They essentially lost Rob Gronkowski, maybe a center, a couple offensive linemen, and they cannot run the ball or win, and they're totally dysfunctional. Maybe it's all Giselle's fault. What do you think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? It's Giselle's fault.
It does seem like that they are falling apart, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So dysfunctional.
And the 49, I think we've talked about it before. It's like Tom Brady is not a mobile quarterback.
No.
He genuinely does not. He does not do well with pressure. But the thing with Brady, it's always been, can you get interior pressure on him?
Right.
So I guess
will Armstead play? Will Kinlaw play? We don't know. Yeah.
Will Armstead play?
Yeah.
And maybe an answer for that is can they stay in that 4 defensive end front and get interior pressure on in
right. Given the fact that the Bucs can't run the ball at all.
Right.
Kind of like the Rams. Yeah.
So
yeah. The Bucs lost to the Carolina Panthers 2 weeks ago. Sorry to cut you off. They lost 21-3 to PJ Walker and Deontay Foreman. Sorry. And they lost to the Steelers. Wow. They beat the Falcons, though. It's crazy. Sorry.
I'm going to say Niners win that game.
Yeah, I think they will too, but let's just slow down.
Actually, wait. You know what? I'm going to backtrack because
let's backtrack.
I'm going to backtrack because I'm going to go with what I've said right before is about the turnovers. Tom Brady isn't turning the ball over though.
That's what I wanted to point. He's got one pick this year. One pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack and I'm gonna.
They're not going to beat themselves in this game. The Niners going to have to beat them. And they can, but Tampa has a good defense. They got Vita Vea, who no one on the Niners offensive line can block. Oh, maybe Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks having a good year. But it seems like the Niners offensive line has problems with big D linemen. Chris Jones. Like, they always do a good job against Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is undersized and quick, and he uses it to his advantage. But Chris Jones is on the other end of the spectrum, and the Niners have never been able to handle him because their guys are all small and undersized on the offensive line, except for Banks.
Yeah, I feel like the Niners, they kind of let Aaron Donald do his, like, because Aaron Donald will guess and will go, he'll go inside to get outside, and the Niners just let him do it, and then they seal him off. Like, I saw one clip where like, "Whoa, look at this block Aaron Banks put on Aaron Donald." No,
I saw that.
Aaron Donald just went inside and didn't try to go around him, and he couldn't.
Right.
So
great. Yeah. So they face him twice a year. They know what to expect. They don't face Vita Vea twice a year. He's more like the Chris Jones. No, he's not like Chris Jones, but he's just a big load. Like, he got 4.5 sacks this year. I think this is going to be a tougher game than the Saints game just because it's freaking Tom Brady. And although they're dysfunctional now, it'll be interesting. Either that team will be down and out. This is week 12. So either this team will be totally eliminated and in the midst of like an embarrassing 10-game losing streak, or maybe Tom Brady figures it out because they have talent. Again, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, that's two guys. Better than nothing.
Yeah. And I know Jimmy Garoppolo right now is posting a career low interception percentage, but that normally normalizes itself. Like, he always is kind of around the same 2.6, 2.8. Yeah. So
it's true.
Until it keeps going and extending and he keeps it low, I'm gonna believe that he's gonna throw picks. And this might be the game where he does. And
it's actually week 14. Sorry, I just wanted to correct myself. It's December 11th, week 14. So this is a lot of time for Jimmy Garoppolo to start throwing picks and Tom Brady to start figuring it out. Yeah. Don't overlook this game. The Bucs are tough. I don't know what to make of them.
And the other thing is, you just mentioned about the NFC South, how it's not good. So the Bucs aren't going to be out of the hunt. So they're not going to be like in 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Like.
Exactly. So the fact that the NFC South is so terrible actually plays against the Niners because they're going to have to deal with these desperate, mediocre teams deep into the season. And I don't know. I mean, the Niners might be a desperate, mediocre team too. So we'll have to see. Buccaneers game is very interesting. This one and the Cardinals ones, I think, are the two that could present the Niners problems so far. Although at least Tom Brady can't move. Huh?
Desperate and mediocre. Somehow this like our show always goes back to lowered expectations.
Yeah, pretty much. The Niners. Yeah, it's like the Niners just dated Jimmy Garoppolo through their 20s and 30s, and then they just broke up at like 39 with no kids, and they're like, oh no, I gotta work this out. We just matched on Bumble. We have terrific compatibility. Let's have a kid tomorrow. Yeah, that's kind of what happened, right? I don't think that happened at all. All right, moving on. The Seattle Seahawks. Hold on. Before we talk about the Seattle Seahawks, I think there was a comment. Sean 951 Niners says 2023 Rodgers, Niners quarterback, Super Bowl each year with our roster. Exclamation point. Sure. How about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers? Bring them both in, have a competition. See who's the best. I would do that. Kirk Cousins too.
And then sprinkle in Trey Lance as the third.
I would use him as a running back. I think that's I think that's why they traded for him too. Everyone thought they wanted him. Boy, he needs a lot of development as a quarterback. Not if we use him as a running back. Ha ha. And then when that didn't work, they traded all their other picks for another running back. So they don't understand. People don't understand how much the Niners want running backs. Okay, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
The Niners beat them already. That was week 2. Since then, their defense has gone from trash to like really good, which is kind of what happens under Pete Carroll a lot. He's a really good coach. He usually has very young players on his defense. And right now he's got 2 corners that are like locking people up, Tariq Woolen and Michael Jackson. He also has a guy named Kobe Bryant, not the basketball player.
He's got Kobe Bryant and Michael Jackson?
He has Kobe Bryant and Michael Jackson on his team, not the basketball player, the pop star. Just wanted to point that out. So they have cool names, good players.
I remember.
It's going to be harder for the Niners to pass the ball against the Seahawks in this game. Plus, it's in Seattle.
And what they also have is, I'd have to look this up, but as of like a week or 2 weeks ago, they had two of like the top 3 guys that are forcing fumbles.
Oh, I think Kobe Bryant might be forcing fumbles.
With
a name like that, how could he not? Steals. I'm gonna call him steals when he does it.
So I'm gonna go back to the turnover thing. Is Geno Smith gonna turn the ball over more than Jimmy Garoppolo?
In Seattle, probably not. Another thing that's been key for the Seahawks is Rashad Penny got hurt. He was really good. But now Kenneth Walker, the rookie, is their starter, and he's really, really good. He's averaging like 5.4 yards per carry, runs really freaking hard. He is the heir apparent to beast mode. He's the best running back they've had since beast mode. And when Pete Carroll has a running back that runs that hard, they're pretty tough to beat. I mean, he has a very – so they can play the Niners style of football very much. I don't know if they can check it down to Kenneth Walker like the Niners can check it down to Christian McCaffrey, but 6-1, half dozen the other.
And they've got two rookie tackles that are playing better every week.
That's another, like, Pete Carroll is 74 years old, and he loves playing players who were 21 and 22. Has no problem, gets them to play really well. Kyle Shanahan's 41, is like the most conservative coach in the league. He's like, get off my field.
And Carroll was one of the first coaches. Carroll was one of the first coaches at USC that would just play freshmen. Like you would come in as a freshman, and he would, because this in football it wasn't a really normal thing. Like it would happen in basketball, but for football it's like, oh, you got to get seasoned, you got to hit the weight room. Yeah. But like Pete, like you would come in and as a freshman, he'd start you.
Yeah, good coach. And that's just, speaks to his confidence in getting players ready to play in his scheme. Really good coach.
What does Kyle Shanahan say again?
Get off my lawn, say. Official BNM Music 88 says Seattle went from Legion of Boom to Smooth Mamba. I don't get it.
Oh, because of Michael Jackson and Kobe Bryant.
Oh, I get it now. Smooth Criminal. Was Michael Jackson that smooth, though? I feel like the word was out on him by the early 90s. But I don't know. I mean, that was all alleged. It was all alleged. Alleged. Am I the only person that kind of feels a little icky listening to Post Off the Wall? I got Off the Wall on my wall. But Thriller and Bad? When he's singing Pretty Young Thing, does that resonate with you? I don't know. This is a tangent. I'm just saying. Yeah. I just feel like I can't listen to that song and be like, let me put this on this mixtape for my wife. Pretty young, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't talking about her. I don't know.
The video
I don't know who he was talking about.
Where he turns into a robot always freaked me out. I don't.
Which one? Weird. Thriller? No.
It was. I can't remember the song, but it was a video. He turns into a robot to save some kids or whatever.
Oh, he had to save the kids.
Yeah, save kids by turning into a robot.
Anyway, thank you. Because when you need someone to save the kids, call Michael Jackson. Let's talk about the Washington Commanders. They are very interesting in the sense that they might be the biggest dumpster fire organization in the NFL.
And they're still in the playoff hunt. They're sitting right outside.
Their head coach already threw their quarterback under the bus this year. Carson Wentz already out. But they've won 3 in a row. And now they're back to Taylor Heineke, who seems to give them a better chance to win than anyone else. More things about the Washington Commanders that you need to know. Big front seven. Big dudes on the D-line. Daron Payne, Montez Sweat. Big dudes that push people around. Terrible secondary. Terry McLaurin's really good at wide receiver. Curtis Samuel's okay. That's the team. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they can get interior pressure.
Yep.
So that's one thing. So,
yep.
I mean, you just say those two guys inside can really cause some problems. So, but Taylor Heineke, I'm still not that confident with their quarterback group. I'm going to say
if the Niners lose to Taylor Heineke, man, the jokes that we're going to make. The jokes. Look, they've lost to some good quarterbacks this year. Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Justin Fields, all dynamic athletes. Taylor Heineke? You can't call yourself a team and lose to Taylor Heineke. It's against the rules. If you lose to the Washington Commanders, you should have to fold your team right then, quit the season. It's over. You lost to Taylor Heineke. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they win this game. They just, to me, like they just lost to Seattle and the Bucs. They come back, they beat Taylor Heineke. Jimmy,
Yeah.
the Jimmy cycle, right? Like Jimmy
Underdog mentality.
Yeah, he just over the last 2 games he just threw 4 picks. So now he's gonna come back and
somehow the Niners will be like home dogs against Washington and he'll beat them and everyone's like, oh my God, are the Niners the scariest team in the NFL?
yeah. The Niners is this the greatest semblance of talent all time in the NFL?
It could be. I just think it's impressive that, Dan Snyder is so toxic and everything's going up in smoke, but here comes Taylor Heineke to right the ship. Dun, 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 dun. Who is this kid? And why does it work for him? He is the Jimmy Garoppolo of Washington, right? They're never going to get rid of him. Never going to get rid of him. They're going to bring a new quarterback. He's going to lose his first 2 games. But oh my God, Taylor Heineke he just wins. He would have won. And he's handsome. Is he handsome? I haven't seen Taylor Heineke. I don't know. I haven't judged. I'd like to judge. I'm a judge. A question for the chat. Has anyone done Red Zone Rally? How is it? I don't know what that is. So, but it's for the chat though. Sorry. Someone else can answer that question. All right. So that's it. Then the Niners face the Raiders and the Cardinals again. But I think the team in the NFC that Niner fans are really looking at is the Eagles. They're undefeated, but they kind of like the Niners haven't faced that many good teams. Last night on Thursday Night Football, they had a pretty close game against the Texans until they ended up beating them by 12. So now I think the Niners looking at this team and thinking, are the Eagles really that much better than the Niners, or are they even better than the Niners at all? What do we know about the Eagles? They got a young quarterback who's playing really well, but hasn't been tested in the playoffs, in Jalen Hurts. They got a great running back, too.
They got a great offensive line.
They got a great offensive line, unlike the Niners. They have a great trio of receivers in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. They have two really freaking good cornerbacks in James Bradbury and Darius Slay. They got a really good, was he a nickel or safety in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
I think he's a nickel.
They're pretty much stacked at every level of every position on the team. There
were some rumors that they were after Alvin Kamara, but they didn't get the running back, so they don't have that.
They still have Miles Sanders, though, who's really, really, really good, and Jalen Hurts runs.
Not the Christian one thing that
they don't have Christian McCaffrey. CMC. We're calling him CMC on this channel right here. Okay. The one thing they don't seem to have statistically is a good run defense. They're giving up like 5+ yards per carry, but at the same time, they've given up the 5th fewest rushing attempts, which tells me that they're basically winning all the time. And when teams run the ball, they're running from behind, and they're probably running against light boxes and getting 5 yards and punting. So I don't really know what their run defense is really like. I don't know if it's been tested yet.
Or it could be that their offense is scoring too much, so the teams can't run. They can't utilize the run game.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So this seems like a really, really, really good team until someone gets injured. A.J. Brown was drafted after Debo. Niners could have had A.J. Brown, and Debo has given the Niners some great things, some great, great performances. But A.J. Brown is super consistent, and he's having another excellent year, and Debo isn't. Maybe Debo will finish really strong. I don't know. But that's one difference in the teams right now is that A.J. Brown is chugging along while Debo's still kind of stuck in neutral this year. Oh, and that they have Jalen Hurts, who's really good, and the Niners have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's Jimmy Garoppolo. No disrespect. I like Jimmy. But come on. It's Jimmy.
Yeah, if the Niners played the Eagles tomorrow, I would definitely pick the Eagles 10 times out of 10.
Pretty much all you got to say about that. That's what I want to come back to. So, like, everyone's saying the Niners are the scariest team in the NFL. How? I mean, no disrespect, but they got blown out by the Chiefs. Why would we think that would change next week? And if they were to face the Eagles, why would the Niners beat the Eagles when they couldn't beat the Bears?
Right.
I don't know. I think we're going to need to see the Niners beat Arizona before we say that they're definitely going to go back to the. I mean, do they have the team to win the Super Bowl this year? Yes. Does that mean they will? No, absolutely not. Because one, we've seen that they've been underperforming a lot, and two, I think the difference between teams, like the good teams and the bad teams, becomes less every year. So are the Niners good? Yeah. What does that mean? Does that mean they're way better than a team that's not good? No, absolutely not. They could lose to the Bucs week 14. They could lose to the Cardinals, who probably won't make the playoffs. How many teams are truly great in the NFL right now?
They could get swept. They could get swept by the Cardinals.
Yeah, there's like 2 really good teams, 2 really bad teams, no great teams. Absolutely no great team. And that's just a tangent of mine. I really hate that. We grew up in the 80s and 90s. There were great teams. We don't see great teams anymore. And the NFL doesn't care because they keep making more and more money every year. People keep going to watch mediocre teams play mediocre football, and fantasy football reigns supreme. So fans, if you want to see like greatness again, man, stop going to the games and just watch on TV or whatever. Write to your congressman. Write a letter.
Is ESPN Classic still there? Watch ESPN Classic.
Watch ESPN Classic. I don't know. We got to put some pressure on the league to like bring back quality products. My favorite line. You ever watch that movie White Chicks? That movie is so funny.
I actually never saw it.
Oh my God. It's required. If you're going to be a guest on my show, you have to watch White Chicks because it has really poignant social commentary. Really poignant social commentary. It's about these 2 black FBI agents, and they go whiteface, and they pretend to be women. And it's their comment on what it's like to be white women in America. They go to this hotel early on, and they get like rough treatment. So they're like, I'm writing a letter. And he goes, I am a white woman in America. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, you don't need to do that. It's so funny. So funny. Really, really a really underrated Wayans Brothers movie. I don't know why it didn't win the Academy Award. It was important to our society. Anyway, Leonardo says, can we go way off topic a bit? What's your opinion on Spirits and Ghosts? Also, best rock songs from you and Coach. Go. What's Spirits and Ghosts? Just in general?
Yeah, like in general, like Spirits and Ghosts, like
I don't know. I've never encountered a spirit or a ghost, but I did watch Coco on the plane back from Minnesota in August. I don't know if you've seen Coco, but that made me cry for 2 hours on the plane. And Dia de los Muertos was the other day, so I hope I got some visits, is what I have to say.
I watched Thor: Love and Thunder on the way back from.
Did that make you cry?
It did not. It made me laugh a couple times, though. But
okay. Favorite rock songs? My favorite rock group right now is a punk rock group from Australia called the Chats. They're pretty cool. I grew up listening to Green Day, and there's not really good like American punk rock anymore. They just
the Chats or the Chads?
The Chats. I don't know who the Chads are, but they're probably great too.
The Chads are the Eagles.
The Chads.
the Eagles are the Chads.
Any other teams in the NFC that are interesting? I mean, like the Cowboys are good, right? I saw you tweeting about them. They're a well-coached team, really good defense.
Yeah, I was just like, you kind of got to give Mike McCarthy his flowers, right? He won a Super Bowl in Green Bay, which nobody else has been able to do, or nobody I know he had Aaron Rodgers and all that. I mean, he's done pretty good with the Cowboys, like so. I mean, I'm not trying to say Mike McCarthy is like the greatest coach of all time, but like I don't think we can say he's like ass, you know.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys lost to the Niners last year at home in the playoffs, but since then it seems like their defense is better. They still have Dak, although Dak was so bad in that playoff game, just terrible. But he's a good quarterback. He's better than Jimmy. I mean, I wouldn't say that the Niners are definitely better than the 6-2 Cowboys. And then there's the Giants, who somehow are 6-2 with no players in their team. That's amazing. I don't know how they did that.
I mean, like, yeah.
It's amazing. It's funny what coaching can do when you actually have a head coach of a team. That's the one thing. Having a head coach, I think, is underrated. A lot of teams have coordinators and stuff. The Niners have coordinators, really good coordinators. If they had a head coach, man, imagine what they could do. They might win a Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm such a jerk. They won. They're on a bye week, and I'm just taking shots left and right. Why? It's unfair. It's uncouth. If one could be uncouth, could one also be couth? That's my question. You never hear people talk about couth.
Yeah, dude,
I want to be couth. My brother says you need to get with Queens of the Stone Age, and what kind of olive oil is that, Coach?
Your brother had to pay $10 to make a comment. It's rough in your family, man.
Yeah, if he gives less than $10, I don't read it. No, he's just supporting his little brother. I appreciate it. Queens of the Stone Age still makes music? That's tight.
Wait, can I give?
They've been around forever.
Can I give Brian a hint? Like, Brian, if you just like Venmo that to Grant, like he'll get all of it instead of YouTube taking a cut.
No, that's okay though. He needed to be part of the show. I didn't know that Queens of the Stone Age still made music. They were cool. I like Queens of the Stone Age. I give them 2 thumbs up.
This. It's
Yeah, we need to know.
It's organic. It's organic. Organic. I think it's organic. BJ from BJ's. Yeah. Organic
From BJ's.
From BJ's. Wellesley.
What is BJ's?
You don't have BJ's?
No.
BJ's. It's a wholesale club. Like.
Okay.
So you buy everything in bulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Me and my brother just get our olive oil from Italy straight. We have a
Straight from Italy.
dealer. Yeah, we got a dealer. It's in the family.
You guys.
Yeah.
I thought I was bougie doing organic, but you guys are like.
I like how you tried to just throw organic out there to make it seem cool. I don't know what it is, but I heard it's organic. Oh, okay.
Well, right. He asked what it was, so it's organic.
Well, people have a lot of. You have a really, really nice backdrop tonight. I gotta say, we're seeing the microwave. We got. You give off the vibes that you don't spend a lot of time at home. That you're more of like a Brazil guy, like an up in the air kind of guy.
I have been lately.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Brian, thank you for the $10. I owe you. I appreciate you, man. That's my brother, everyone.
He's gonna put that towards some olive oil.
Hey, Brian, what do you think of the Warriors and their 3-6 start? My brother's a big Warrior fan. I've been watching the Warriors more because the Warriors have been this huge dynasty, and I really felt like it's been boring as hell to talk about them. Like, they're great. Like, what can you say the last 8 years? But now they're super interesting. So I watched the whole game last night and just shit posted on Twitter the entire time. It was so much fun, dude. So much fun. I think I'm going to start covering the Warriors. Do you watch them?
No, I pulled up and I watched the Knicks last night when
that's a waste of time. That's a waste of time.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, don't do that.
Like, all right,
don't do that.
Yeah, they're playing Atlanta. Started off, they're up 20.
I don't want to hear it. I don't care about the Knicks. They don't care. I don't care. I couldn't name one player on the Knicks. Not one.
No.
Thanks for the show, everyone. That's it. Have a great weekend, a great Friday. The Niners don't do anything this weekend, and my wife is working in the mornings, so that means I'll be working too. I'll be streaming. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but my wife's a vegetarian, which pretty much makes me a vegetarian. What's that from? But I do love a tasty burger. That's the question. That's the quiz for next show. What is that from? Coach Johnston is flummoxed.
I'm flummoxed.
Both